Howdy, folks out there. Welcome to our live stream for our You Stream, I Stream, We All Stream for live stream. We have all three of us here today, Joe Elser and Travis Lopes. And we're going to go ahead and get started so that we can get into the content. I'm going to have quite a few slides to work through. Looks like we have about 8 people out there on our YouTube. Do remember that it's about 15 seconds or so lag between what's live and what you may type into comments. So we'll be keeping an eye on the comments. We got Jen and Elaine in our chat, keeping a track on our comments, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Alrighty then. Let's see what I do on demo screen. There it goes. Okay. Alright, so tonight you're here for You Stream, I Stream, We All Stream for live stream, getting started with live streaming from home on a budget. We are WordPress St. Petersburg. Come on, there we go. And we meet every the first and third Tuesdays, and well, right now on live stream as we're being quarantined. But normally we would meet at the Suncoast Developers Guild at 2220 Central Avenue. Hopefully we'll get back there again someday soon. If you've never been to our meetup, please go to meetup at meetup.com, WordPress St. Petersburg. Our website is wptampabay.org. We have a Slack chat, a Facebook group, and a meetup links for all of the other meetups that happen across Tampa Bay. Right now, Brandon and Tampa are on hiatus, but hopefully they'll start live streaming too. So we'll see. All right. I am Jim True. My Twitter handle is at JimTrue, jimtrue.com. I'm a support engineer at Gravity Forms. I'm also the community support lead at the Pods Framework. You can get to Pods at pods.io or at Pods Framework. Joe Elser, he goes by Joseph Joe Elser, is at Tuggy TV. He's got a Twitch handle there, Twitch TV, Tuggy 0 TV. And then you're working on another educational tutorial stuff. Do you want to go ahead and talk about yourself, Joe, real quick?
Yeah, I'm a manager and a DJ of a strip club here in Tampa. But outside of that, then I've just recently started working with, I've got a buddy who has an RV inspection company, and he's trying to put together some educational courses. And with that, there's going to be a lot of websites that are going to be built. And so he's conned me into trying to learn WordPress. So I've kind of been jumping in as hard as I can and trying to learn. But that's with the myrvresources.com that we're working with. But
awesome. Okay. All right. And we've also got Travis Lopes on here. I gotta switch my screen again. From 4Gravity. He's a developer at Gravity Forms, and he's the owner of the 4Gravity, which is another plugin framework that creates add-ons for Gravity Forms. Do you want to talk about yourself a little bit, Travis? Travis is going to be on here because he's had some streaming experience and a lot of other sound, etc. experience, and could be good for fielding some questions.
It's been about a decade since I've done streaming heavily. Back before even Twitch was really a thing, it was still Justin.tv. So hopefully a good amount of my knowledge is still applicable. Good. But yeah, I work over at Rocket Genius every day at Gravity Forms, and then also I run for Gravity, which we have a suite of Gravity Forms add-ons, which do things from generating PDFs based on form submissions, locking down your form data, and automating deletion and exporting of entries. And be sure to check out, I'm sure Jim will mention after this, hopefully I'm not cutting him off, but the second meetup of next month, the third Tuesday in May, we're going to be doing an advanced Gravity Forms workshop, an AMA. So come armed with your Gravity Forms questions, and I will answer them.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. So let's get started on our talk tonight. We are getting started with live stream. So, sorry, I went too far. Went too fast on my little browser screens there a second. Let me go back one. Hang on. Come on, you. Sorry. Trying to get there we go. Okay. Getting started with live stream. Why would you video chat? We're going to basically talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight. Why would you video chat? How could you take an existing business to video? We're going to be talking about video conferencing versus streaming, where to stream, browser-based streaming software for streaming, software to stream with Mac and PC, and some demos. Both Joe and I have some demos set up for his favorite platform and my favorite platform. We're going to talk about equipment, cameras, microphones, and lighting, and then we will field all of your questions. So, why video? Why not? We're in quarantine, and you've still got to work, keep your office connected, maintain your meetings. So, this is one of those kind of situations where a lot of people are having to pivot and change their businesses from a face-to-face business into a video online type of business, and this is the perfect time for things like that. Lawyers and accountants, typically they are used to meeting one-on-one with their clients anyway, so the only change here is that you meet one-on-one with your clients in video chat, charged by the hour, and that works for any consultant. You can actually set up this really simply with Google Hangouts or Google Meet, with your Google Calendar, integrate it with Calendly, have them book a meeting with you, and have them automatically charged just from that alone, or using SquareUp. So we can talk about some of those that are Ask Us Anything in 2 weeks. We can talk about how to ramp some of your businesses online pretty quickly. Coaches, trainers, therapists, if you run group fitness classes or group therapy or one-on-one therapy, doing those through a video conferencing setup is absolutely perfect, because you can basically be in front of the people, show them how to do things, you can keep an eye on their form, the whole bit. Teachers, cooks, knowledge experts, you can stream your classes. You can get interaction to your class through chat, and you can create video content for later, which you can use to promote your business. So, video conferencing versus streaming. The primary difference in those two platforms is audience and the access to the content. Video streaming or video conferencing is 2 or more people in a video chat, typically private and not public. All connected people are in the video chat, so all participants can see and hear each other. Some examples of that are Skype, Meet, Microsoft Teams, Zoom. A lot of people have been using Zoom, but there's been a lot of issues lately with the Zoom bombing, but they've been doing very specific things to try to combat that. And for streaming, it can be 1 or more people watching your stream, or 1 or more people on the stream talking. So like right now, we've got 3 people on our stream, but it could just be one of us, or it could be 4 like we do for the Ask Us Anything. But the intended audience is to be as many viewers as possible. And these can be public, as in like stream to YouTube, or they could be subscribed connections, like Twitch can be live, or it can be a subscribed connection where you actually subscribe and pay your your streamer for the content that they're streaming. And the same thing can be done with YouTube as well. Streaming means pushing out to streaming platforms, which are engineered to actually handle that kind of content in a much more conducive way to actually having a good feed. That's why, like when we're streaming on YouTube, we're like 15 seconds lagged, because that lag is actually handled by the streaming platform and the software to actually make sure that you guys are getting a good interaction with us. So when you're talking about video conferencing, what I wanted to actually highlight here, and we're just going to talk about these briefly. Let me get rid of my picture-in-picture because I'm blotting some of the screen here. These first 4, or the first 3 that I listed there, did I miss one? I must have, because I could have sworn there was one other one in there that was actually doing it. I think it may be GoToMeeting. The first 4 of these have actually opened up their premium products to be free through the month of July because of the whole COVID-19 quarantining. So Google Meet is Microsoft's new video conferencing platform. It can be, as they advertise it, 10 to 10,000. I don't think it can actually handle that many. I wouldn't know if I would actually want to watch a screen with 10,000 little heads on it, all in that Brady Bunch mode, but I'm sure that they'll handle as much as they can. But it's a nice software package. If you are a Gmail or a G Suite, you can get the freemium platform, which was the one that you can get for free through July. I actually signed up for it, and it comes with all of the stuff that Slack gives you, but it also gives you the Meet. Sorry, did I say Google Meet? I meant Microsoft Teams. I got flip-flopped there. So I was talking about Microsoft Teams. I'll go back and talk about Google Meet in a minute. Microsoft Teams, it's the first time I've ever signed up with it, and that's the full Slack replacement by Microsoft, and it connects into all of their platforms. But yeah, I think they optimize for about 100 people on the screen, though, at once. You can share screen, both guests and other people. You can lock and control and do all kinds of like proper video conferencing protection. Google Meet is the business level of Google Hangouts. Google Meet is again 50 to is I think they optimize for 50 guests, but again they also have the option for sharing screen, and it is free through July. Cisco WebEx is the one I'm used to using back in the old day, and they are optimized for about 100 guests as well. They're also free through July. They have been known primarily for webinars, and so they're worth checking into. Zoom TV, I'm going to give you a little more details on that one. They allow 100 participants on the free, but only for 40 minutes. If you pay for the plan, the first level tier plan, you can have 100 participants as long as your call is. You cannot record, though, for a specific amount of time. And if you want to stream from Zoom TV, because this question came up, if you want to stream from Zoom TV to YouTube, you have to buy their webinar plan, which is $40 a month. And one of the options that came up that someone, I think Joe, you actually mentioned this one to me, was the Discord. There's been a big push towards this as well from students, because students are used to using Discord because they either use it when they're on all of these stream Twitch games and stuff like that. And it's a free platform. It's secure. And you can have up to 50 people in your video chat or in your chat at the same time and have a classroom with it. So it's one also worth looking into. Takes a little bit of setup to do, but it's not that bad. So that was our video conferencing bit. Do you guys have any comments on any of those?
Find any 13-year-old kid, he can set you up a Discord room in about 10 minutes.
Very true, very true. A lot of it, and I'm also going to try to link to a couple of extra additional YouTube tutorial videos that have kind of like an overview of a lot of these different things. It just may be a little later this week. So, okay, let me get back over here. All right, so now let's talk about video streaming and destinations. When you're talking about video streaming, we're talking about streaming our content out to a much larger audience, and that would be like to YouTube, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitch TV, Twitter Live, Periscope, LinkedIn Live, and Vimeo. So what we're going to be looking at first is going to be the browser-based streaming, and that means that all you really have to do is go to the browser, connect to the browser website, sign up, and put in your information, and you can pretty much be working within about a minute or so. I was going to do a demo of BeLive, but I could not get it working on my Chrome, so it would not access my camera whatsoever, so I can't really give a recommendation for that one. It has the maximum number of guests that you can have in the call with you. I think it's just 2. And you can share your screen, and it can stream out to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. It's free for 2 guests. It's $24.99 a month for up to 4 guests. So that would be 4 people, including yourself. They have a thing called a green room as well, and I'm going to show you that kind of a sample inside StreamYard. Most of these kind of setups are designed to be a little more professional. So like how we've got, we've got our little picture-in-picture down in the corner, or like when we were all talking together, we had like 3 little, our little lower thirds underneath. All of these are designed to give you that kind of a configuration without a lot of work. And StreamYard is the one I checked out last weekend, and I was actually really impressed with it. It has a maximum number of guests of 6. You can share your screen. It can stream out to YouTube Live, Twitch, Facebook Live, Periscope, and LinkedIn Live. And it is free for $20 a month. You can record your calls for longer periods of time. You have unlimited streaming, and you can have up to 10 people in your green room, but still only 4 people on the screen at the same time. The way StreamYard works is it basically creates a green room where you give a link to your people. They take that link and then they sign up, and they just basically connect to their camera and their microphone, and then they're inside your live stream call. So we're going to do a real quick demo of StreamYard, which is from a recorded session from earlier today, so you can kind of see what it looks like. Hi there, going to give you a quick overview of the StreamYard interface. Down here at the bottom, you can see the current screens that you can share. My camera, my shared screen. If I click my shared screen, it'll automatically pop in here. Any callers that you would actually have on the call would also be down here, up to 3. You can only have 3 people join the call at one time in a StreamYard. Everyone else will be sitting down here in the waiting room, or the green room as they call it. Over here to the right, during your live stream, your comments will actually show in this area, and you can click them and they'll automatically be added here. Your banners is a way to add additional information on the screen. As an example of a banner, you just click them basically to show or hide them. You could use them to say things like click to subscribe and follow our channel. The brand tab is meant to give you more control over the colors. You can set the brand color, change the style of the banners. You can change the logo up here if you had a paid account. But since we don't, we can't do that. The overlay is just here. You can change that graphic yourself, and you can also change the background that's showing in the back here. Pretty straightforward, fairly simple. You can get started in less than a minute. Okay, so that was a rather short, brief intro of it. I also sent a feed from StreamYard out to our YouTube as an unlisted, and I will link that in as well so that you can kind of see the quality. I wasn't thrilled with the quality of the video on StreamYard, but I thought for the configuration and setup, anybody could do kind of like a produced show very easily with that. And that's why I wanted to show you guys how it worked. The other one we looked at that's a browser-based streaming is called Livestream Studio. It's a little more complicated, as in like a lot more complicated, but it's free. And it's free for 4 people on the call. You can share your screen. It can go to YouTube Live, also go to Twitch and Facebook Live, and I believe Mixer. It's free, however, if you want higher quality video, it's going to be $20 a month. And when you go to $20 a month, that actually allows you to stream to multiple destinations at once. StreamYard, if you pay for the $20 a month, you can get rid of all of their branding and put your own branding into the call. Sorry, I meant to mention that. And Livestream Studio, I'm going to show you that demo now. I didn't do a lot with it because I honestly didn't have time to figure out most of their little screen setups, but we're going to talk about more of those kind of configurations when we go into OBS and WebCam Live. So here's our Livestream demo. This is Jim. I wanted to show off a demo of Livestream's backend. In this particular case, you have your scenes down here at the bottom, your sources over here to the left, or your layers as they call them. And then any chat, etc. would be over here. Since we're not actually physically online, there would be nothing here. You can invite guests right here with the copy invite link, and they'll be showing up in the green room right here, and you can just drag them into the chat. There are no templates that I can see to automatically lay out the screen, so it looks like you would have to do that kind of stuff yourself. You would create the scene and then do those templates. But you have more power with Livestream. The audio output's only going to be 720p though, so that's going to impact your broadcast a little bit too. So just thought I'd show you the background. Here is another version of a scene with a little tiny window and screen share of like my keynote again. And that's about it. Okay, so that was our demo of the browser-based streaming. Again, that's a way to get started quickly because you can just use your video camera that you have on your computer and whatever the mic is, and it's a quick way to do kind of like a talk show or an interview or something of that nature, or if you're going to just do a demo of showing off something yourself. I was really the most impressed with StreamYard because I liked the way their interface worked. I just wasn't impressed with the video output. And Livestream Studio doesn't go higher than 720p, so I don't highly recommend that but I think they're going to be going to 1080p later on, but we will find out if that actually happens or not. So now we're going to talk about software-based streaming, and I didn't put on here Linux OS, but figured that if anything works on Apple, it also has a Linux client, except for Ecamm Live, so I can't say that for sure. So the 3 we're going to be talking about are OBS and Streamlabs, Ecamm Live, and Wirecast Studio. Wirecast is ridiculously complicated, so I'm going to talk about it first. It's not cheap. It starts at $600 a month, but it is designed to be professional grade quality streaming software. It's the stuff that your broadcasters usually use at TV studios and stuff like that. It's designed to work with as many interfaces as possible. With that one, their free version. They have a free version? Or did I mistype? Yeah, it has a free version, I guess. No, that can't be right. I think I put that in the wrong window. I did. I ignore that on the number of guests. They can do up to 8, I believe. They have a Mac client and a Windows client. They can stream out to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter TV, or Twitter Live, and Vimeo. I didn't install the software because I didn't really want to go that crazy in the one. So the one we're going to talk about as far as recommending for Windows users would be OBS and specifically the Streamlabs. And I'm going to let our OBS expert actually be talking about this one. So whenever you're ready, Joe, to throw your screen share in, go for it, and I will switch us over to that one.
Let's see. It's not showing me.
Oh, in Skype?
Yeah, let's see.
It's the... Oh, you got it. Okay, cool. Let me just add your...
Which am I sharing? It didn't show me which one I'm sharing.
Yeah, give me just a second. It looks like you're sharing your browser window right now. That's what okay, now I'm seeing it. Okay. Hang on a second. I'll shift you over there. Hi there. Going to give you a quick overview of the StreamYard interface. Down here at the bottom, you can see... Sorry, I didn't mean to play that one again. Here we go. Sorry about this, guys. Give me just a second to get the right thing on the screen. There we go. Okay, cool. Now we got you on there, Joe. Let me see if I can get your other camera on here, too.
Let me slide this out of my way there. One of the things I love about Stream OBS is the options. Is for all the different places that you might want to stream at, you also have it with here. You can go into your settings. You can see Twitter, Mixer, Facebook Live, Restream. Restream is actually another software that will allow you to stream to multiple sources at once. That was one of the great things you can use with it. Also, you can, if you happen to be streaming on YouTube or Facebook and, somebody is complaining that your stream is choppy or something, you can always come in into your output and lower your bit rate so that, on the fly real quick so that somebody that can adjust for that. I love it also. It works well with the Stream Deck. If you can see here on my stream there, that I can with a flick of a button just switch from one scene to another. This would be my normal gameplay, and then this would be with my gameplay with my camera. If I wanted to take a break, I hit that little button there, slide back to the back button, and so on and so on. The Elgato Stream Deck works really, really well with OBS, and it's basically just a macro button that a little programming, and you can set it up to change your different scenes that you might want to do. There's a lot of...
the hardest thing to set up with OBS?
Honestly, I didn't find... There's enough YouTube videos out there to help you get set up with it that I really didn't have any trouble at all. It was pretty much I downloaded it, watched a couple videos, set my settings in comparison with theirs. I've had to go back and adjust my bit rate a little bit. Sometimes my bit rate was pushing a little bit too high. But there again, you can adjust that on the fly. That just depends on other people's internet as well. Because if they've got bad internet, they're not going to be able to watch you as well if you're at a higher bit rate. If you lower your bit rate, then you'll be able to catch them as well. But the biggest thing that I love about streaming, and you were talking about the different reasons in the beginning, was the entrepreneurship. Honestly, I mean, if you really think about it, there are so many avenues out there to where you can make money, and live streaming happens to be one of them. Content creating, you're already in the business of being content creators, and now you're just putting it into a more video and live streaming form, and you would be blown away, not only blown away, but surprised at the amount of money that you would be able to make from doing it.
Because you said like basically when folks subscribe to like Twitch TV and stuff like that, you said you just got started. You just decided to like throw one
Yeah.
up and play a game, and then like boom, you made like a 400 in a month or something.
Well, I made 100 my very first month. It took me about 2 months to be able to make affiliate to where you're able to make money on Twitch.
Okay.
Um, you have to get a certain amount of viewership and build a little bit of a channel before they'll allow you to start making money. But then once you get to I usually run around 45 to 6,000 kilobytes. Um, But once you get to affiliate, then it opens up, you people allow the subscriptions and other things. And every time somebody subscribes to you, they can even use their Amazon Prime
Yeah.
membership, and they get one free membership. That's how they're getting the money from these kids. Is their parents link their Amazon Prime account with their Twitch account, and the kids get one free subscription that they can give their favorite content creator every month. And every
Yeah.
time they do, that's $2.50 in your pocket.
Now, have you done any of the YouTube monetization side, or have you
I,
solely
I,
focused on Twitch?
my YouTube is so small that no, I haven't even had an
Yeah.
opportunity to try to monetize YouTube. But with YouTube live streaming, there's still, you can link your PayPal account with it, and then people can donate straight to your PayPal right during the stream. And a lot of big streamers are moving to YouTube live streaming because of that.
Gotcha. Fascinating. Cool.
And sometimes, like, you think, like, starting out, like, man, like, no one's going to watch me. But sometimes all it takes is just being at, like, streaming the right game at the right time. That, like, might not have popularity right now, but, like, you got in early, and because there's no one else streaming it, everybody's gravitating to you. And that's how some people I've seen out there have gone from, like, 20 viewers to, like, skyrocketing to, like, 2,000 in, like, a week.
Yep, and it doesn't even have to be a game. There are people on Twitch that literally all they do is cook. And they are making a living doing that. And you got girls that they sit there and talk to guys, and then they do the what do you call it, MSR, RSMR, whatever.
ASMR.
ASMR.
And they rub their arms up and down on the microphone, and it gives a soothing sound. And people are paying their bills for it. So to think that you couldn't monetize a channel where you built websites or showed what you do for a living. Somebody out there is going to find that interesting. All you've got to be is personable whenever they come into your room, and then you've got a viewer for life.
Well, we've even talked about it with like this particular channel. Like we've started really focusing on the Tampa Bay WordPress, or the WordPress Tampa Bay YouTube channel, and making sure that we record our sessions, from our live classes and stuff like that, and our live streaming. I mean, we've got 14 people on the call right now. So, if we actually pushed one of these a little harder and got it outside of just the meetup, we probably could get a lot more. I want to ask a couple more questions too on OBS, because I know
and a lot of the I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah. And a lot of the big content creators on Twitch will tell you now that it is almost impossible to just start on Twitch and grow on Twitch. They tell you that you have to build content somewhere else and draw people to your Twitch channel. For instance, one of the guys I watch, he has a YouTube channel that took off and became very popular. From that, his Twitch channel has exploded. Like, he went from making probably $6,000 a month, and now he's making $40,000 a month. He just did a video telling everybody what he makes a month doing this. And it's insane.
Well, I've even noticed like a lot of them will do they'll do like 5 to 10 minute reviews of like microphones and cameras and lighting setups and all these kind of things that basically just help people get better with their video setups for like actual video streaming or video conferencing. So I mean, there's a whole world out there for all of that. But I did want to ask a couple of questions on specific to OBS, because it's a more complicated one. For me, it was really hard to set up, mainly because looking at the screen, I'm going, and I'm sure a lot of people are looking at the screen and are probably also going, oh my God, that's really confusing. But
it really is, though, you get the basics of it. Like, once you get the understanding of the basics, it really isn't. I mean, because if you look here are my scenes. I was doing it by button. Like, we're on the starting stream. We'll go to my just chatting.
And you said that a lot of those you could get almost pre-built with Streamlabs, or was that
Stream
one of?
Elements. You can go to Stream Elements. You can go to Nerd or Die. There's actually a lot of YouTube videos. These are all simple to make. I mean, they're
Gotcha.
not hard. These are a little more. The ones that I have are a little more because they're video,
Mm-hmm.
but all basically once you set up your scenes, you see here, you come in here, you would set up a scene, and then once you get into the scene, it's over here is your sources, and this is what you're going to bring into your scene. So you would bring in, you know, your audio input. I've got my mic, so I'll bring over my existing. Bring over your mic. Want to bring in my video. Um, I've already got a camera, but since I'm using it in Skype right now, I can't use it over here.
No
Otherwise,
problem. Yeah, you don't want to lose that.
when I click that, that would automatically brought my camera up. If I want to do, you know, some of the background, say I wanted to do that, I can bring that in. It's just as a browser source. I already have it saved, so I was able to do that real easy. But all it is, you know, in Stream Elements, you can go into Stream Elements and you can build these on there. They have them some built specifically for games. You can get some that are plain, but you're just, you know, like camera boxes. But you could, if you have any kind of like Photoshop skills, you could do it. You can make your own really easy and quick.
Question: what is Streamlabs and how does it differ from OBS by itself?
OBS and Streamlabs is just a platform that goes along with that works with OBS. It's like it's you know, it's kind of where they have their it's kind of the same thing that I use Stream Elements.
Okay, so it's kind of like simplifies getting set up a little easier.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, because when I went today, it was very funny because like it only would allow me to see the Mac side of it, not the Windows side, and then yours shows the Windows side. I love that. How that's hilarious. Yeah.
So basically, here it keeps like you can see, I haven't streamed in like 2 months, but they it would keep track of your stream and your tips and what people have subscribed to you and who's donated. It helps you keep track of all that. It's also they have game overlays. Let's see, they have different overlays that you can choose from that are game based. They have some that are just color based, so that they're not specific to a game. Okay. So like if they have it in general, they have some that are the static, and then they also have the video ones.
I gotcha. So they could do kind of like a News at 11 style or something like that.
Exactly.
If you wanted to do like a podcast.
Exactly.
But essentially in OBS itself, it's just taking OBS and giving you at a glance views of things going on around your stream. Like the subscriptions, like the chat.
Okay.
It's allowing you to be the producer. It allows you to basically be the producer of your show. Yeah,
awesome. So. Okay, cool. All right. So now I think we're going to pop over here and talk about Ecamm Live, which is what I'm using. And I think for some reason I lost hang on a second. Let's do the 3-up so at least poor Travis isn't all by himself on the screen. That's the only problem I couldn't have is when we were sharing your screen, I couldn't put a little bubble down there in the corner. But when mine goes up, I'm actually going to just be going to my desktop. So I'm actually going to do that now so that you guys can see all of that kind of fun. I'm in Skype. Ecamm Live is the Mac version, and it allows you to have 4 people in through a Skype call, but it's using the NDI platform for Skype, which I think that's starting to open up as a new platform for a bunch of different little video things, which basically allows you to take your communication source and make it restreamable so that you can use it again, like I'm using it now, to have all 3 of us on the conference at the same time. So I'm going to go into live demo mode on Ecamm Live, and you guys will be able to see my desktop. And you'll kind of see some things that look familiar to what you may have seen on the OBS configuration. Ecamm Live is $12.99 a month for the regular version. It's $20 a month for the Pro version, which includes being able to use Restream IO and being able to use some more professional options on the list. So I'm going to see if I can pop that back to the... so what you're seeing here on the left-hand side is the scenes. I think you can possibly see my little mouse moving over there. These are the scenes much like Joe was showing, where he had the scenes like, here's the title screen that we did at the beginning. Sitting there saying howdy, howdy. And you can also see down here below that these are the overlays. These are where the text is that shows up. So like down here we have the Jim True, and then we've got the WP Tampa Bay.org over to the right. I can also change to my desk camera, so if I wanted to do a demo of some kind of like making things or painting things or doing some sort of odd thing, I can do that over here as well, which is kind of nice. It's not a bad setup to do. All of my cameras are in here. I also have like the Skype screen share, which is what we use to show off Joe's camera. I also have, like I said, the overlays, which are visible through the whole process. Let me go back to one. Camera. I can zoom and pan, so I can make it more properly centered if I want to, which I kind of like. You've also got additional picture settings if I need to change the brightness. Camera options, I can turn on green screen. Down here is the sound levels, and you'll notice over here too we have a... There we go. I think. Sorry about that, guys.
There we go, yeah.
I think we're back. So, hopefully you guys didn't lose too much from that conversation. I think I'd pretty much finished up on showing the demo of my local screen. So I like Ecamm Live because it's just easy to use. It was pretty easy to configure and fairly easy to set everything back up. And Elaine says I can see you and hear you. So I think we're okay. All right, so that was our discussion on software-based streaming. So let's, oh, I need wrong screen. Let's go back to the demo. Yeah, there we go. So now we're going to talk about equipment recommendations, specifically webcams, like cameras, microphones, and lighting. Now in the camera world, most webcams nowadays are actually pretty good on your desktop, and they're perfectly fine for video conferencing. The ones that I tend to use or recommend is like the Logitech C920 Plus. That's what I've got up here, because it does a 1080p off the bat. If you're going to use a DSLR instead, and that means that, a digital SLR camera, anything is better than a webcam and the DSLR range, but you need to make sure, the most important thing is you have to make sure that it has a clean HDMI output. What that means is that typically if you've ever used a DSLR camera, all of the exposure and the speed settings and light settings and the shutter settings and your battery level is all displayed on the back LCD display. That's what's going to be streaming to your camera, because that's what you're seeing through the DSLR. So you have to be able to do a clean output of that, which is called clean HDMI, in order to connect it as your video input for your live stream or video conferencing. Most Canons are pretty cheap nowadays. GoPros are fine if you're going to be doing something where you're going to be showing a gigantic room and maybe a fitness class or something like that. The cameras on these guys are actually pretty good, and most of them can be configured to do live stream as well. When it comes to microphones, this is where I'm going to turn it over to the sound guy, to Joe.
Microphones, you're always going to sound better with an XLR. If you don't want to go XLR or you don't have the space, you're looking for USB. anything from the Blue Yeti Nano. Um, Blue makes an excellent microphone all the way around the board. I will back anything with the word Blue on it. um, Blue Yeti, Blue Nano for the price. They're going to have a really good sound. Another good one is the Samson G Track. Um, it's a great condenser mic. It's about $165. Now you're starting to step up a little bit more. XLR mics, the biggest part of your money is going to be on your soundboard and your microphone. And those just depends on what you want, what you're looking for. You can get a Shure M48 for like $40, which is a great dynamic mic. It's not going to pick up a lot of background noise like your condenser mics will. That's the big difference between condenser and dynamic. The condenser mic is great for the sound quality, but it's always going to pick up a lot of more of your background noise. The dynamic, it'll help cut out the background noise. You can set up the gate to eliminate most of your background noise with a dynamic mic. There again, it just goes like, and then we were talking about, encoding. In order for it to live stream or in order for it to put it into video, there's an amount of encoding that goes on. And for it to break it down, anything over $100 price range on a microphone, and you're pretty much just wasting it for live streaming, because it gets anything over that $100 mark, and your sound quality it's getting cut back from encoding to the point that it's not worth spending the extra money.
Got it. Well, like most of the ones, like even the Blue, like I think the Blue Yeti's running a special where it includes the boom arm and the little shock thingy that spins around the top of it.
Shock mount.
Yeah, and all of those things are basically designed to reduce, like if I hit my desk, vibration noises and all that other kind of stuff. So when it all comes down to it, and the XLR basically means it's got its own little audio input box, right?
Yeah, it's this cable right here is called like on the back of my microphone. It's an XLR cable, and basically from that, then you're gonna have to have a sound interface. So a soundboard. You can get a cheap $50 Yamaha soundboard, and you're going to sound perfect as long as it has a USB interface so that you can plug it into the USB on your computer. You'll sound.
Is that like the Roadmaster? That doesn't sound right. I know there was a couple of them that I've seen ads for recently. They have the USB. They can go ahead.
You've got the Shure 7B or M7B or something like that. That like the podcast mic, which is an expensive mic. You don't have to go that expensive.
Got it. Okay, cool.
It's like almost a $400 mic.
And then our last discussion is really on lighting. And natural light's best if you can get it. If you've got light in your room that actually is uplight and can bounce around ceilings and stuff and reduce shadows, that's what I use here. That's why I don't have a lot of extra shadow lights around my eyes and things. Now, granted, coming from a lighting world, ideally you'd want at least a ring light coming in this direction to fill in any additional light. I think that's what you're using, right, Joe?
I have an umbrella.
You got an umbrella, boom, or
soft. Yeah.
And that's kind of it. Like if you can be near.
Just put a different lens on my camera and moved my camera, and so like you can tell my lighting on my glasses isn't right. So yeah. I need to actually adjust since I've done that change.
Well, that's another thing too, is that making sure that you're actually looking at the camera when you talk to people, which I have a really hard time doing too, because I keep looking at the guys on the screen instead of looking at the camera. And when you're having the conversation, when you're talking about things, it's easy to do when you're in a room full of people. It's harder to do when you're physically doing a video conference or a live stream. So it's something to just get used to doing. And a lot of it comes down to too is that if you've got good sound, if you've got a good camera that lights you well, and you're looking at the camera, that's going to make most of the differences when it comes down to your quality. And I think our next slide is questions. So, all right, folks, any questions out there? I haven't seen any yet. I see a lot of discussion about the buffering and the glitching out. Yeah. So, Do you guys have any questions as far as like what you know framework and stuff? What might be the best to get somebody started?
It
Yeah,
just
I think we've asked a lot during the call, but we haven't like really talked about what kind of questions might be coming through. There's like no questions at all. I'm gonna do any questions out there.
New question came in from Elaine. Great
Yes.
question.
She says,
For
"Why did you
Jim.
glitch?" Let me see.
Yeah, why'd you glitch?
I have no idea, Lane. I have a feeling that my processor got overridden by all the things running on it right now. That's the only reason I know, is because I was in demo mode, and honestly, it lost my Wi-Fi. That's why mine stopped. So next time, I would probably try to find a LAN or a wired connection in, so I could work in that direction. And that was the only question we have. Well, that makes this a lot easier. Gonna make it a real short talk then. Um, yeah, none, no questions. How do you guys feel about the whole Zoom thing and the Zoom bombing and how slow Zoom has been to respond to making their platform more secure? Any thoughts on that?
I wouldn't be against not using Zoom anymore.
As would I. So I
Yeah.
know that the paid version, supposedly, it's a little better. Rick asked a question. Did I miss when you talked about the setup you've used for this video? No, Rick, that was actually when I was showing the Ecamm Live. You do have to have a Mac to use it. That's the problem, is the configuration. But it does kind of the same thing OBS does. It just does it in a more Mac-friendly way. As the big difference. And I was showing that in the demo. I think I actually demoed all of it before we glitched. So, yep, I got it, Elaine.
How does Ecamm Live handle audio?
How does Ecamm Live handle audio? It creates multiple little channels.
Okay.
So I've got one here for my Blue Snowbell. It has the ability to do its own channel for when I was doing the movie demos. So I can actually stream a video through my thing as well. And then our Skype is actually its own channel. I was noticing on the buffer on that one, on the audio levels, they were going too high. So I took it down a little bit into the yellow range instead. So hopefully our audios will all kind of be closer in sync than they were on the prior calls. For filming a church service, okay, so let me see. Rick had asked, I'm curious about the software you're actually using. And that software, Rick, is Ecamm Live. We have another question from Anja Carlson. What's the best platform for filming a church service? So
OBS does recording as well. That's a free software.
Yeah, that one is mostly going to be about you're wanting to get the person who's actually physically on the pulpit. The most important person during the church service is the person doing the talking and making sure that they're being picked up by the remainder of the people in the office in the congregation. The congregation doesn't typically talk, so I can't imagine how have most of the churches been doing that. Do you guys know?
I've actually helped a couple setting up OBS.
Pretty much, what are they doing? Are they they're obviously not having the congregation there, but do they have like the choir and singing in through Zoom or something?
It's usually like the preacher and his wife and kids.
Okay.
And they play piano and sing. And
okay. Yeah, Jen's has a comment on here as well. She knows a lot of churches use OBS, important because you might find some user groups or communities of admin people. So, okay. And if you guys
that is
have
just
additional... Oh, go ahead, Travis.
That's definitely just as importantly like a hardware question, because like if say we were not in a unforeseen time and we had full like churches, like you might want to have like a multi-camera setup, and you might not want to do like a webcam. You might want to have like proper DSLRs, so you'd want to make sure you'd have the right hardware to bring those sources in, and especially the right hardware. You'd probably want to use a PC at that point if you don't have like a very high powered Mac, because handling multiple video inputs at once and stuff is very CPU and GPU heavy.
Well, and also too, when you're recording, like if we weren't in quarantine times, if this was the before times, you would definitely want to have a multi-camera setup on the choir, probably a couple of like at least getting crowd shots to see how large the congregation is, and then some specifically set up on the choir with good microphones picking up their singing, obviously.
Which for that part, you could probably just pull in off of whatever soundboard is running
Yeah,
the sound for the actual church.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, Steve Curtis asked another question: is can you can you screen share with Skype? Yes, Steve. When we did when we brought in OBS as an example as a demo, that was actually Joe's screen share through Skype. That's how I was able to pull it into my Ecamm Live. We have another question from Anja. She says, our last one, they filmed just the pastor and the organist, and they pre-recorded it, but I would think that a live stream would be better. I think that honestly just depends on how polished they want it, the show to be. Because like when we do the talks, when we video the talks at the Suncoast, I tend to not edit them down. But if we have like technical failures or I glitch up during conversations, or if I'm having to sync my slides with the person who's actually doing the presentation, I will go through and edit those, and I definitely always fix the sound on those particular things with my sound software, because the sound is always bad in a room compared to sitting here in a studio talking.
I would say like you would only want to do a true live stream if you want to interact with the audience. Because if not, you could just pre-record it, especially like for a church, you might want to do it on YouTube. You could pre-record it and do a premiere on YouTube where that recorded video is just, they kind of like live stream out that recorded video, and then people can interact in the chat there real time.
Yeah. And donate money.
Yeah.
So my comment was for churches before COVID times, and yes, they had multicam and running through soundboard. Got it. Okay, cool. All right. I know for like a lot of the folks that were like, if you've seen any of the like Stephen Colbert or any of those guys and like all of those particular shows, a lot of them are either using OBS or they might be using Ecamm Live because they're all on Macs as well. Yeah. Okay. And Jen added another comment too about many churches are continuing to use OBS now, and even Facebook Live for more in the moment or casual moments, which makes sense. That's the biggest thing about doing any kind of a thing that's streamed or live, is you've got more opportunity for interactivity, and interactivity is big because that keeps your audience engaged. So kind of like you guys are right now. We have you captured. So.
But don't overthink it and feel like you need to live stream. It doesn't make sense for everybody.
No, not at all. Yeah. I mean, no. I would have thought about doing the Zoom stuff with us, but we needed to go to YouTube and we needed to have you guys interacted. And I don't like having to like turn around and re-video stuff, so that's kind of why I didn't do Zoom. And I like having a more professional looking setup if we can. But nowhere near as professional as Joe's with all his little video stuff, but maybe one of these days I'll get there.
That's how I did it, piece by piece.
Yep. Let's see. Okay. All right. So anyway, I think, are we getting any other questions? I see a comment that says, Rick says, I have the $15 Zoom account and I just stream to YouTube. Okay. Well, I don't know how you did it, because according to their system, you cannot stream to YouTube as a webinar without paying $40 for that add-on. So you can push it after the fact. So yeah, didn't smile.
I can definitely like recommend though on the Mac, like for audio, I've always found Loopback to be like very powerful, which will allow you to create virtual audio sources. So you could do stuff like, yes, like Ecamm Live can like pull in the audio, but like say you were doing your screencast,
right,
and you were like playing audio through it, I could not hear it.
Right.
So with like Loopback, you could create a virtual audio source that's like a mix of your mic and like your applications, and then send it to us on Skype, and then we'd be able to hear it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the difference with OBS, because you guys are most OBS people are using Zoom for their chat piece, aren't they?
No.
No. Well, I guess
Zoom?
you don't typically bring in guests. That's the thing.
No,
Most of the ones I've seen where they have guests on
yeah.
Twitch or using OBS, they're like Dungeons and Dragons, like the live roleplay stuff, and they've got full soundboards and mixing and everything else. I've heard of Crowdcast, Patricia. That's another one. I did not look at it because there was way too many that I had to cover already. So she says, I came in late, but a speaker I follow uses Crowdcast. Crowdcast is another video conferencing webinar specific software. Yeah. So I can't give you much feedback on that one, unfortunately, because like I said, I looked at so many that I kind of my brain was jelly. Let's see, Steve. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Your show, buddy.
You were saying so. So it's okay. Okay, so Steve has dropped in and says, "Can we live stream with just Skype through YouTube?" No, you actually do have to have some software that can feed the stream out to your streaming platform. So, like Rick was saying earlier, he says that you can use Zoom and you can stream the content out, but you have to have their webinar add-on. So if you did, Steve, if you did want to do something like that, you probably want to look at StreamYard. Skype does not have the ability to broadcast to YouTube. You can,
but if you're
record
doing
it, you could record it and then upload that recording to YouTube. But if you're wanting to stream, you actually need to use one of the streaming softwares. Go ahead.
But if you're doing something very simple where you just want to capture Skype, like you're not doing overlays or anything, you might just want to do a Google Hangout because that will automatically like record and share to YouTube.
Yeah, you can set it to. It doesn't have to. Well, that was the weird thing because Hangouts used to have all of the overlay features. They used to have the ability to do the split screens and the whole bit, and all of that went away. So they got out of the streaming business and have completely gone to YouTube Live, and they don't provide any tools to do that stuff with. They work with all the other tools, but they don't provide those anymore. So
it's just crazy to see like all the options that are out there nowadays.
mm-hmm.
Just because when I was doing this heavily, it was like on the Mac, your choices were like Boinks TV, which still exists as like I was showing it to you, Jim, as like Nemo TV or something.
Yeah.
And there was that in Wirecast, and then on Windows, it was pretty much only like Bid Blaster. It was like the main thing.
Well, OBS has been free since day one, but I just couldn't get it configured right because there was so much tuning I had to do that I just couldn't configure it right. I played with it for a while and just gave up. And then I found Ecamm Live, and I got to Ecamm Live 1 month too late. It was the month before that they were a paid prescription. You bought the software, and then the month after that it went to monthly. So I got screwed. But I do like it. It works really well. But I might look at OBS again through Streamlabs now because if I can simplify that process, because that's the biggest piece of all of this is trying to get the configuration to work, getting your cameras working properly, getting your sound working properly, and setting up all your scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, Anja, we've said it a couple times through the thing. It's Ecamm Live on the Mac is the one we're using. And that's the one I used for the Ask Us Anything last 2 weeks ago as well. So Ecamm Live on the Mac. And Ecamm Live is a Mac-only software right now. And I don't know if they're ever going to come up with a PC version. So, any other questions? I don't see any more coming through, so we currently have 12 viewers, and we're at 7:30. We might actually end early tonight. Not a bad thing.
You kind of reached on Jim. You are not Jim. What's your name? Travis.
Yes.
Yeah, Travis had kind of reached on something a little bit there too. Once you get into evolved, once you if you get into streaming, and one thing you're going to have to be in tune with is how much you're doing, because it does take a lot of CPU and a lot of GPU usage in order to play. For me to do a single PC stream for the games that I play, I have to have a beast of a computer in order to do a single PC. A lot of people do a dual PC. You can do a two PC setup where you're playing your game on one and streaming from the other.
Yeah.
But then that involves a capture card. So
Hmm. Yeah, I've watched a lot of those particular videos on YouTube, and it's just like I'm going, oh my god, I definitely don't want to go that direction. It's too much processor heavy. So for me, I primarily want to use it for doing demos with, showing how to do things, having conversations with other people, and not doing obviously never ever doing the Ecamm live demo thing again. That brought my machine down, but
I went total nerd. I went the i9, overclocked it,
yeah,
and water cooled it, and so we're
there
good.
you go. There you go. So, well, I'm glad this went well. Thank you, everyone out there in the Tampa Bay WordPress world, for coming. We are having another meeting in May. We have two actually in May. Let me get my calendar up so I've got the right dates at
Yeah.
least.
The first one will be in 2 weeks on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, where
Oh,
we
it
will
is
be
May 5th,
doing an
isn't it? Yeah.
Ask. Yeah. We'll be doing our usual first of the month, Ask Us Anything.
Hmm.
Bring your questions. We will, as long as they are answered within at most 15 minutes, we will get an answer for you.
Yeah. We'll bring the whole crowd again. And then 2 weeks after that, on May, what date was that for yours,
May
Travis?
19th.
May 19th. You want to tell us
Yeah.
what you're going to do?
Yeah, we're going to be doing an advanced, instead of the previously scheduled talk, we're going to be just doing an open advanced gravity forms workshop where I will be sitting down and answering your questions about all things gravity forms or kind of web forms in general,
Yeah.
because most general web forms things can be applied to gravity forms.
Yeah, it'll probably be a two-upper on that one. It'll just be Jim and Travis for that one, and we'll take questions from the audience. I'll let him drive the main piece of it, but if we need to do other demos while I'm pulling questions up, we've got both of our computers, and we both work for Gravity Forms, so should be pretty fun. All right, guys, I'm gonna roll our big one. Make sure you like and subscribe this video down below, the little doobly doos. There'll be a little like button and a little thumb up button, and subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified of everything. And we will see you in 2 weeks on Cinco de Mayo. And no, I'm not going to wear anything Spanish, but I might have some margaritas that night. We'll see. And I'm going to fire off our. First off, Joe, thank you for coming out. I know we didn't get to talk about you doing this at a strip club, but can you give us the strip club voice if you want to?
All right, gentlemen, one more time, put them hands together, make some noise out there.
Yep, see, got his DJ voice going. And Travis, again, thank you for joining the call and helping out and all this little stuff. And I'm glad this worked out. And I'm going to kick off our end cap video. And thank you, everyone out there in the audience, all 14 or 15 of you. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Stay safe.
Thank you for watching our recorded session from WordPress St. Pete Meetup. We meet twice a month on the first and third Tuesdays in downtown St. Pete at the Suncoast Developers Guild. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new videos are added. Find out more about WordPress St. Petersburg at our website at wptampabay.org.